So we've added the two file resources here, and I've got actually a stop and debug, and you can see that now there's two file resources. And so in our zip, we have our word mark and we have our blue sky logo. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go into our intro section. Now our intro section, the image is going to vary. So we need to account for that. We want to pull the dynamic image from that. So what we have to do is a few things, because we need the name to match. So we have to get the specific name from a longer URL. So we're going to use some filters to do that. And then we are going to then use that file resource and add it into our zip file. So let's do the name thing first, so we can see how that works. So let's pop in, there's our intro sections. Just underneath our intro section, let's just pop in our variable. So we're going to create a variable, and we're going to call this one main image name. We're going to get this variable from our latest. So let's just do that. If we remember how to do that, let's go back. I'm just going to save this so we have our variables started. But what I want is I want this latest newsletter. So we're going to stop and debug. Let's remember to turn back on our API call. So turn back on our API call so we get the information. And then we're just going to get our latest newsletter. So just a quick refresher here. We're going to just run this again. Here's our latest newsletter. So what we want is we want this main image, and you see how this URL is quite long. We only need this last name. This is what the image is called. This is what we need to collect from it. So that is what we're going to be doing. So first, let's just do our good old copy here. And where's our create variable image name? So we want to do our latest newsletter, subpath, define, and then we want that URL for the image, main image URL. So it's field data main image URL. But what we want to do now is we want to add filters so we can get that last piece. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a filter. And one thing you'll notice about this, which you won't maybe necessarily know, is that you're actually using JavaScript filters in a lot of these cases. So split is a JavaScript filter, and it splits text into an array of text and returns the result. And so what we're doing is we're splitting this URL by whatever we want. So what we're actually going to be using as our separator for splitting the text is our /. So everywhere there's a /, it's going to break it into a new text string. And so let's do that and save that. So let's see what that looks like before we do the next step to it. So we save that and we do a stop and debug, and we're going to get this main image name. And I'm just going to run this. And we see it's broken where our /s is, it's broken up. And what we want is we just want this last one. So we're going to use another filter, and it's called pop. And that basically removes just the last piece. So that's what we want. So we're going to just add into our, just after our split here, we're going to add one more piece, and it's the pop filter, and we don't have to do anything. It is going to pop the last element of the array and return just that. So it's perfect. So let's do that. And so if we stop and debug our main image name again, we just get our name. So that's perfect, that's what we needed. And so the next step is we're just going to do what we did before, is we're going to add our file resource. So we're going to add our file resource. So let's just create right underneath the variable that we just created. We're going to zip, add a file resource. The file that we're going to be adding is from our latest newsletter. So if we get latest newsletter, if I subpath it, oh yeah, we have it here. So I'm just going to define, and this time what we want is we want that URL. So we're going to create from that main image URL, we're creating our file. We know that we have our file name, so we're going to do our image / because we want it in that folder. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use another filter, and we're going to concat. And concat just joins two values together. So what it's going to do is it's going to join this image with whatever value we want. And we want that main image name. So what it's going to return to us is the image with just the name of our image. And you have the option of using filter separation if you want between text strings and stuff like that. In this case, we just want the full URL. So we're going to update that, and then we're going to add it to our zip file. So if we take a quick look at what that looks like, let's just grab here's our stop and debug. Here's our stop and debug. But yeah, we have it. So we have our main image name, but actually what we're going to want to do is we're going to grab our view contents as well, and we're going to drag that down a little bit. So we just kind of keep looking and checking our work, right? So we've got our view contents, and now our stop and debug, what we actually want it to be. So we want to see what that zip is. The view view zip. That's not the zip. We want to view zip. And so if we do this and we run it again, we should have 3 items now. And there we do. We have 3 items. They all have the proper name. We have sizes for them. So we know that our zip folder is getting larger and we're adding things to it. So where this is going to be used throughout, and again, I'm not going to do this for each of them because this will make this video way too long. Anywhere that we have a section that we're just pulling content from one item, we're going to do this, we're going to be doing this for it if we're pulling it from just the API call. And we need to get that image name. If we are not naming something ourselves, but we're pulling it from the API. So I believe that this is actually the only use case for this in this particular instance. But if you have like maybe multiple API calls and you have to do this kind of thing, then you'll be using these 2 filters, split and pop, a few times to make sure you're getting just the name that you have that's matching, and then we just add the file resource.